What's going on, everybody? This is Gary B. Jr., and today we're going to talk about a very cool feature in FreeShow that is just simply called gradients. And so now in FreeShow, instead of having solid backgrounds for your items in terms of text boxes, you can actually put a gradient background to these items. So let's look at how you can use this and how I might use it for me and how you can get some ideas to use it for yourself. So the first thing is I'm going to actually do it as an overlay. So I'm going to select new overlay and I'm going to call this one QR code tutorials. All right, so it takes you directly to the edit page. The next thing we need to do is we need to create a text box. And this text box is, if you go to the item itself, you can see an option that says background color, and you can make it be whatever color you want. You can make it be red. You can make it be uh, yellow or orange. And these have always been there in FreeShow. But this new feature is an option to hit this color again next to background color. And you'll see an option now that says normal or gradient. And so I can go to gradient. And now instead of it just being orange, I can make it be orange with this darkening on this side and a brighter side on this side where it's got this gradient to it. And you can change this gradient same way with the yellow here, but you also can make your own. I've made some custom ones here, but you can do choose custom and you can make it what you want. So I'll keep that part yellow and I'm gonna make this part here be a different color. I want it to be kind of like a in-between color. Something like that. And I'm gonna pull it up. And then you just click it and it saves that. And then I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna make that be full blown orange. And you can see the gradient show up here. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see what it looks like if I made it a radial. So I hit the type, instead of it being linear, you can make it be radial. And you'll see it's got the circle there, but that's not it. So the shape can change. You can make it be an ellipsis shape to where it's kind of a wide circle, kind of widened out. But I like the circle. I like that a lot, but I also can make more changes. So I can go down here and you see these little numbers with the plus and minus next to it. So I can make this number go up and I'm gonna just hold it down so you can see what's going on here. And you'll see what it's doing is it's literally changing the gradation of it, right? How soft does it transition? All right, so it went up to 60 and that's as far as it'll go. I can go back down and I go to 50 and it's a little bit more blended, right? So it changes the blend. And I like it to be really blended well. So I'm gonna go all the way down as, I like 28, 23 looks good. And you can do the same thing for each color in the gradient. And you can make it be just one, or not one, but two. You gotta have at least two colors, but you can make it, you can delete these if you want to. You can move them up and down. And so I can move this one up and I can have a gradient that looks like that. And notice that my mid-tone orange went to the top. And then I can move this one up and I can make it to where that dark tone is there. But then I like it the way it was where the light tone was there. So I'm gonna move it right back in order. And I'm just using those arrow keys to do it. But I can also adjust this so I can move it up. The blending on this one, it takes it all the way to the edge, right? I can make it go back down and you'll see it bring that blend back in. And I'll bring it down some more. And you'll see it kind of go down and just be softer, but it goes all the way down and it can look like it stops at a hard stop there, right? So we don't want that, right? And that's at 23 as far as it'll go because it's going down as far as this one is. And this is all just a combination of how far they're connected. So I'm gonna blend this one to be to there, and then this one can go down as well. And you can see what it does is it puts that hard stop on it at the 65, but I can blend it back up and it'll soften it up quite a bit. And I can go all the way up to 100 and it'll blend it out to where it's completely blended. All right. Once that's done, you can do more. So you can actually add another color to this if you wanted to, right? And so right now there's no more room because I already went to 100. So I have to bring this down and notice now I bring in this other color, this white, that takes it to the 100. All right. And I can bring that down as far as I want to be at 89. That's as far as it'll go. And so you've got to really work with it if you want there to be multiple colors. So I can blend this down. I'll blend this one down to be like about half. So 46. So 23 to 46. And then we'll bring it up. Um, Here, we'll bring it up to there. That's about twice that. And it can do that. And you can do as many colors as you want. That's the point of this, is that it can blend multiple colors as long as you don't go over the 100 mark. There's room for multiple colors. So I can make this one be green, but notice you don't see any of that green in the blend because I'm already at 100%. But when I bring this down, you'll see it come in there, but you don't have a lot of room to kind of blend it. So you got to bring some other things down to give yourself room to make your blend softer. Okay. And so that is how the gradient tool works in terms of manipulating it. So I don't want either of those. I don't like those at all. I like this just like that. I'll bring this back up to 100. What it does, it just really softens it up. Right. And this is just a little strip. If you make your actual text box taller, you'll see it actually reflect that full circle and everything else. But this is just a fraction or a section of that circle. Okay. If I were to change the shape to be the ellipse, like you said, it'll be like I call it a smashed circle, right? And the radio, you can just make it be the type of a linear, right? And you'll see that linear progression, and the same rules apply. All right. So I'm gonna go back to radio, and I'm gonna make it be circle, because that's the way that it looks to me the best. And this is an option. Now, the thing about this is that this is a really bright tone here, and this is kind of bright, but not super bright. So this would probably work best with dark text on top of it, because everything is generally at a brighter tone. If you were doing something that had a blue tone with it, you want to be careful. If you want to put white in the middle, you got to be careful of what color text are you going to put over the top of that is easily visible. All right. So once I'm done, I just hit done here, and it's there. All right. So I've got my gradation there. Now, the thing about this is it's not saved as a part of my customs. Okay. But you can see here the circle is there and all that good stuff, which is great. And I can make this be something like that and bring it down. Because remember, we're making like a overlay here for a QR code. So that's what it would look like. Now, I've got my QR code. Let me go back to my items, and I'm going to go to media, and I'm going to bring in my media. And it is a download from hover code. There it is. All right, that's great. Let me bring it to where it's not anything overlaying or overlapping. And then let's bring this down to make it fit. And I'm going to bring that in. All right. And so this is what I've got. I don't necessarily like that color tone or that gradient for this particular piece that I have. So I'm going to change it. All right. And so I'm going to bring it to where it just pops out subtly. I don't want to move the whole thing. Let me drag it in. All right. And let's bring it just a bit more. All right. So I've got this QR code, and it doesn't look bad with the orange on the outside of it. It's got that little gradation with it, right? But what if we change that to where it was a darker color? So it'll make that QR code pop a little bit. We can do something like that. And that pops pretty nice. I like the way that looks. And so I would do something like that. And you can see it kind of looks like it's almost glowing behind it if I were to use it. So now I've got that going. And if I were to go to that overlay and I click it, it pops up and it looks like that. And it gives a nice little effect to it. So you can see that on the screen. What I might do though, is I'm going to edit it a little bit more, and I'm going to make that box be a little bit smaller around it because I think it's too big. All right, let's see. Arrow that over a bit, and we'll make this be a little bit shorter as well. And let's see what we got. Yeah, I think I like that. All right, so I wanted to make it all together just a little bit smaller. So basically it's just a little border around it. All right. And so now I'm going to go to my show, and we'll reset that overlay. I'm just turn it off, turn it back on, and it's there. And it gives it a nice cool effect that I like. I like that effect. All right. Now I mentioned something earlier. If you want to make a template in a sense of your gradient that you want to keep, and it's going to be available to you for a lot of different sources and not just for this one application, then you want to go to your settings. All right, so I'm gonna go up here to the top right, go to my settings, and if we go over here to general, you got an option, and I believe it's under manage colors. Here we go. So under manage colors at the bottom right of the general settings, you got this option to add colors, right? So you can add your own colors that you want to be available in the pop-up for your colors box. But you also have this new option here for gradients that you can add as well. So you can actually create your own gradient style, right? So type, I can make it be radio, and I like the radio for some reason. I think I like that glow effect, and I can do something similar. So I can make it be the bright yellow here, and then I'll try to make it be somewhere close to what I had before, which was kind of like another darker yellowish orange, and maybe a little less here. All right, something like that. And I want to get to that orange, right? So I click that, and then I go here, and I can make this be the orange. And so I've got something there that's very similar to what I had. I had this up a little bit, right? So I had that like at 23 or something like that. You can recreate it if you want to, or just start here, right? Start at your settings under general and go to manage colors, and you can make all the templates that you want for your gradients. And then when you go into your overlays or your slides or wherever you're adding actual text boxes, you can change that item because you've already created that gradient. So I like this here. I might bring that up a bit, bring this up a bit, and I would just hit done. Remember, you can always add more, but I'm going to click done. And now I've got that gradient. And these are some other custom ones that I made here as well. You'll see all of these already by default, but the ones down here are the ones that I've actually made on my own. And you can see that I've not made these, so you can't delete these. These are default. But down here, you can actually remove these if you wanted to. Same way with the colors. You can't change these up here that are default, but when you add your own, you can get rid of them and replace them if you wanted to. All right. So this is the new gradient feature in FreeShow that allows you to make your text boxes. It gives it a more polished look, if you ask me. And so hopefully you can find some unique and creative ways to use your gradients in your service, in your use case for FreeShow, whatever it may be, and enjoy. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.